Jackie Kashian, Laurie Kilmartin.
We're here. We're doing it. Hello,
We're
Laurie.
here. How are you, Jacqueline?
I'm good, except for I was just telling you off that my t-shirts, the Union Baysides that I like to use, they last forever. The t-shirts. I use them for the Dork Forest shirts, and I use them for the new merch, the Made of Bees shirts, and they just went up by let's see, they were, what was it? They were like $11.22, and now they're $12.47 for just small through XL, and then the double XLs are $15, the triple XLs are $17, and the 4XLs are $19. So when you average
19. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm, but so average, instead I averaged them, and that's why I charged $30 for them, because they usually the average of them were $15 a piece, and now the average is $16 a piece, and it's fine. But guess what? I just got that news, so it's in my head. So there you go.
Hello. Can you do made to order from their site so that?
Not. I have not seen a. Laurie has joined in portrait orientation.
This is the way I always am. That's the way. So that my head.
That's what. Yeah. There we go. And
she's
so your
talking
whole
to an
head.
app right now. Yeah.
I'm talking to AI's gotten that close into my life, and but okay, so I can't do drop ship as far as I can tell of Union shirts.
Oh, okay.
And so, and plus when they drop ship them, I believe they end up costing even more, and I make a lesser. The profit isn't, because I use the merch money, as we always have in stand-up comedy, prior when merch was introduced into our lives, for lunch money. It's just lunch and tip. That's what I use it for. So it means that I can tip well. It means that I can go out to eat. Otherwise, I got to eat out of the cooler, or I got to buy a bullet and then buy a banana at the airport.
You mean a NutriBullet blender?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what you do, because that's what you do.
I have my portable. That's right. I have my portable blender, and I almost kind of want to bring the NutriBullet, but it's just too heavy. Again, I need to be more successful, so I can have somebody take my luggage from me the moment I pack it. Like walking in the house, putting it in the car, and then getting it. Yeah, I'm just my shoulder. Go ahead.
I do know some people ship their luggage to the hotel.
Again, I don't know how much fucking money that costs. I'm not getting into that.
It depends how much luggage costs. Well, it might be less than what it costs to pay for luggage on an airline. Did you hear Southwest is going to start assigning seats?
It's going down a dark path. I bet the 2-3 bags is next to go.
Yeah, right? that'll be the next thing to go. Just because they need money, I guess, and
they want money.
It's a drag.
They have money. They make money. They do very well.
Yeah, I think
they don't pay for software updates. I know that. That's why they weren't harmed.
They didn't subscribe to CrowdStrike, so you gotta love that.
They're working on Tandies, Radio Shack Tandies. So
did I tell you that Andrew Solomson explained to me at length? I think I did, right?
Oh boy.
What happened?
Right.
With the CrowdStrike is the fact that they, as far as I understand it, I could no doubt be corrected, is that they just sent out the update. Usually they sent it out in waves, and somebody hit reply all, no BCC. And so it went to like hundreds of thousands of computers instead of going in waves of like 1,000. Are there any bugs? 10,000? Are there any bugs? 100,000? Are there any bugs? They sent it to 10 million machines and went, hope there's no bugs. And then that guy got fired, I'm sure. And then that guy got a new job the next day because cybersecurity needs a lot of people to work for them.
Maybe is that my next career, cybersecurity? I don't know.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Sure.
How was your week in comedy?
My week in comedy was let's see. I think I came home from Eugene right on Monday,
Yeah.
and then we did it. And then I did a pile of sets around LA, and they were super fun, quite honestly. I had yeah, I did Akbar, and then I did Art Bar in Mar Vista,
Yeah.
and then I did that Lost Parrot Cafe in Pasadena.
Oh, fun.
And then I did Comedy and Magic Friday and Saturday, and then last
Oh,
night I did the new Hollywood Comedy Club, which is on Melrose and Cahuenga, and it's just a
yeah.
black box theater with a neon sign. Good for them. And it was kind of a mic because there was just everyone in the audience was another comic. So I
Right.
just worked on the new stuff and
Right.
the
Right. Right.
newest of the new stuff, and yeah, and so that was fun enough. The Comedy and Magic was super fun. The first night there were it was prehistoric and it was a little grabby.
Oh,
But
right. Right.
right, there was and I'm willing to name names. Do you not want me to? What do you care?
I don't care.
Yeah, Alan Havey. I've met him anytime these last 30 years, and he's always been just not rude to me. The night I was there, he said something so gross,
Yeah.
but I think he had been to some extent goaded, but he had been gross before I got there, and a couple of the younger guys were actually busting his chops about it, going, "Why? Why do you even have to say stuff like that?" And when I say younger guys, by the way, 35. Uh,
Alan
it
is
was
hilarious. He's very funny, and he's from,
I've
you
never
know,
seen that. I don't,
oh,
but I've never seen him on stage, and I never watched his
okay,
show. So
okay. Well,
I know in the green room he isn't funny. He's just kind of talking about getting his nads chewed on under a table. So,
that's funny to a certain audience,
well,
and
that's what I said to Jeffrey Baldinger. I said, well, at least he's still writing. And Jeffrey Baldinger and Alan Havey's sitting there, and Baldinger goes, "Yeah, but he's writing backwards. Why would he write backwards?"
yeah.
And Chris Martin just looked at me and he walked out of the room
I
because
mean, yeah. I
when
can't.
Havey said it initially, I said, "Is it 1987? What just happened here?" And
Exactly.
yeah,
Sometimes I don't know. Like I think some, people have their old. They have moved on in some ways, and then some
but
tendencies
isn't
cling.
he?
Wait,
Is he our age?
sentence.
Okay.
God dang it. He's a little older than us, and I think he's from the era that was killing it in the clubs right when we started, right? Like they got moved up very quickly. They didn't have to do a 20-year hike to headline and stuff like that. So when you see those guys, they have some of those barnacles sticking to their hulls, and it's gonna happen. I mean, there's other guys I've run into are the same thing where they say some stuff and you're like, but they mean overall fine, right?
No.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it didn't offend me so much as just at this late date just fucking bore me. I was
Yeah.
just bored. I
Right.
was like, I know you guys are offended and he's having the time of his life lighting you up. But I've sat and heard about you want to go to breakfast? Yeah, you can sit on my face. And from any number of dingbats like this and we're the last generation to refer to them as, well, it's not okay, but it's fine. Which is not
That's Jackie. That's funny because I had to turn off my replies and exit out of a Twitter conversation that and a friend I've known. The other, like, I could see how there's other female comics that are friends with predators that like
yeah.
they started together, and you're like, what? But I mean, not that I'm in that situation, but I am friends with some incredibly obnoxious men who I'm like, oh, but all right, when I met them when they were 19, they were different. I just know them, right? And I just sort of turn off.
Right. You're not friends, they're acquaintances.
You turn off other parts of people's personalities and that aren't core to your memory of them. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
anyway, I'm in I quote tweeted somebody who said something stupid, And then an old socialist white male Twitter friend from San Francisco jumped in, and I'm like, oh God. And, everyone's worst qualities were, as frequently are, popping out on Twitter. So I just exited the conversation because I didn't want to be part of it. No, the other one,
I don't know the other one. Is it
You do. Hold on, I have to turn my
okay,
computer
please.
around.
Right. That's the only other one I'm thinking of.
No, that
Oh,
one.
good Lord. Yes, yes. I wouldn't call him a
I've known him
socialist, but you've known him since babyhood. Yeah.
Yes. So it's more. I think if somebody new had this guy jumped in, they'd be like, "What the fuck, this asshole?" And I'm like, "Okay, here we go."
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, and what needs to happen for me to still hang out with those guys is for them to remain charming. And
Yeah.
sadly, they have not. Those two gentlemen have not. But I mean, there are people, and I will tell you this: there was a guy that I started with in 1984, who is a better person today than he was then. He was a button pushing, very like socially conservative, and just trying to get a rise kind of guy.
Right.
And he still has that tendency,
Yeah.
but his empathy, I don't know where he got I don't know where you get empathy in adulthood. Men often get it when they have a child, right?
I was just gonna say kids.
Okay. He doesn't have any kids, so I don't know
Hmm.
where he got it, but he's a better person today than he was in 1984. He was a better person in 1994, and in 1994 I said he's a better person. In 1997 I think I said he's a better person today than he was in 1984. He's still not a great guy, is what I said in 1997 when I ran into him again. And now I would take that back and say that he has become
Oh,
a better
I agree.
dude. Yeah,
I
just a
agree.
better
No,
dude all around.
I didn't
So
know him earlier in that time. I knew him a little bit later and didn't know him too well. And then yes, I totally agree, 100%.
we started together. So
Oh, okay. Let's see. I had a fun week. I was.
good.
I think I was up in the Bay Area when we were talking, right? I just finished
right.
San Leandro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Sunday night, I did a secret show. Did I tell you about this in the place called the Polka Dot Room?
I think in passing.
Richmond.
What was it in Richmond?
It's a bar in Richmond. Yeah, it was really fun. Monday night, I did there's a new the only black-owned comedy club. Well, in San Francisco, yes, but maybe in a larger place, that was their tagline or something.
Okay.
The Function. It's on Market Street, and it is gorgeous. It's really small. It's 2 stories. I just dropped in, did a little setlet there, and it's just a little small room, and it's really, really cute. And
did you find it necessary to? Did you just work on the stuff that you were working on because everyone in front of you was human? Or did you do any, like the Black Twitter bit is what I'm curious about.
Oh no, that's put to rest, Jackie. I'm
call it a day. Wrap it up. That one's done. Okay. You just worked on your new stuff.
I think it wasn't a black crowd necessarily. It was just a it's a black-owned club. That's all.
I exist in institutionalized racism and sometimes say things that I'm not too psyched about. That was not the most. It's my apologies for making it about race. Let me play my woman card.
We're so stressed out by possibly losing our rights that we can't control ourselves sometimes.
No, I'm just dumb.
That's a fun room, and so check it out if you're in the city. And then Tuesday was at the Throck.
Okay.
And
was anyone there?
It was pretty well attended, and it was a good set. It was, conservative older liberals are a tough nut to crack. I almost think conservatives are easier than conservative liberals. You know what I mean? Because they do have a kind of scolding sort of energy.
Unpack that older conservative liberal definition, please.
Just it's weird. Okay, so I stayed an extra day at the Mill Valley Inn. I've always wanted to do that. You stay there. It's a beautiful hotel. It costs a lot of money. They gave me a deal and they moved me to a smaller room, so it wasn't that much more than had I just put myself up in Pleasanton or someplace else, right? So I'm like, let me just do my fantasy, my little mini writer's retreat fantasy. I've always wanted to stay a week there. And it was weird, like walking around town, and I didn't have a show that night, and I got beeped at a lot, and I realized, like when I would make a left turn, but I maybe, go to the left too, like abruptly, right? Here in LA, no one gives a fuck. Beep, 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 beep. And it was like, oh, it's one of those places where we follow the rules. Beep, 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 beep. And it had that beep, beep energy, right? And then I went swimming. They had the pool I went swimming in. It was a nice pool, but like, they had this really weird rule of no splitting the lane. Like you have to circle no matter what. And that's almost, I don't know, if you're a swimmer, you're like, what? I mean, even if there's only two of you in the lane, you still have to circle. It just,
I don't know what that means.
I know this. I'm talking to someone that's not you. But
Okay.
we do have listeners, thank God. But it's the same sort of a very controlling, managed energy, sort of. Anyway, after the day, I was like, I think I got it. And I can let go of the fantasy of staying here for a week because I might be driven insane. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But the show was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't my best set. It was good. I probably should have done more crowd work because that was working really well. But I was in my head, I want to work on this chunk. And the chunk is a little dark and maybe was darker than what they would have liked,
Right.
And then I went back and did some older stuff that was okay, and it was fine. It was fine. Yeah. There's stuff I'll tell you off mic.
Okay.
Not that anyone needs to hear that, but it's just yeah. It's great. It's great. There's this beautiful painting of Robin Williams front and center when you walk in. Because
new painting.
He used to work out at the Threat all the time. And I guess what I was going to tell you, people are still feeling his loss profoundly at that venue, and the comics that work it a lot talk about it a lot, and it's just interesting to hear.
You know, people who knew him, I think, are still to some extent reeling about it. I know that
very shocked, I guess.
Yeah, because every time I talk to Bobcat, it comes up, and not in a sad way, but just in a this is what Robin might have said, kind of.
Yeah,
I mean, he thinks about him a fair amount of. I mean, they were besties, right? So
I think he was close to a lot of San Francisco comics, and
he played that room so much. So.
Yeah, and the ones that stayed that didn't move to LA or didn't make the move, like he was just part of that community, like in the decade before he passed away. So I think it's weird because I wasn't at all. I only met him once, and so to be part of a San Francisco comedy community but not have that experience is like it's strange.
Yeah,
weird,
because he I would have thought that you would have known him fairly well, but I think you moved to New York. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he popped in at the zoo once when it was the zoo, like in the early 90s, and I was not going to say hi to him. I was terrified, right? I was like, oh my God, that's Rob Williams, and I hid. So and then we never really crossed paths, and then I didn't meet him till the drop, really, and that was just very briefly. But I mean, he just was so. I didn't realize. I don't think till this trip how interwoven he became in the comedy scene later on after I left, and how that affected so many people.
Right. Is the painting nice?
It's beautiful.
Good. Cool.
Yeah, and then Wednesday I was gonna do a set at a club or a one-nighter, and then I decided I was like, I paid so much for this hotel room in Mill Valley, I'm not leaving it. So I'm like, hey, I'm not going to come by tonight, sorry. because it was like an hour away, So
Mm.
so now we're talking 3 hours at night, and that's like
Over several
15% of my
bridges.
stay. Yes.
Right.
And then Manteca. So Manteca was really fun.
Okay, that's that new club,
It's the
right?
Deaf Puppy Comedy Club. It's downtown Manteca. It
Downtown.
really is the only club like that in that whole Central Valley area. And so people came from all over. They came from Stockton. They came from Modesto. Those other towns are bigger than Manteca, but they don't have a club like this, right?
Right.
As far as I know.
How do you spell Manteca?
Manteca.
Okay, that was how I guessed. Okay.
And it's a farming community. Like you're driving through cornfields to get to the comedy club.
Okay. And downtown Manteca, I mean, that feels ambitious. Is
Yeah.
there a coffee shop with an espresso machine?
It's more chain stuff. Here's the thing. They put us up in an Airbnb.
Okay.
That was gorgeous, but terrifying because it was out in the middle of an orchard.
Oh,
and
yeah, I won't be. Yeah.
During the day, like in the morning, I was sitting on the porch drinking coffee and looking at my orchard because I was staying
Right.
there. So it was my almond orchard. And we had a good crop this year.
Oh, good to hear it.
And then at night, I was up all night because there's so many noises and sounds, and
Oh, bummer.
I had a very hard time sleeping all 3 nights there because there's so many doors there's many entrances, and I have a door wedge, an alarm door wedge, but I'm like, where do I put it? There's like 5 ways for rapists to come here, right? So
right,
I'll put it on my bedroom door, but at that point, they're in the house, right?
Right.
So yeah, but it was beautiful. There's longhorn cattle, like these massive longhorn Texas longhorns being bred on a farm nearby, and the crowds. I mean, it's a conservative part of California, right?
Yeah.
It's
right.
But
yeah.
As long as you don't mention certain words, the crowd's fine. Like Biden or whatever. And they reminded me of the crowds from Laughs Comedy Cafe in Tucson and Albuquerque in the 90s, which were really, really great crowds. Like all 5 shows were awesome. 4 of them were sold out, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much that was me or the club owner Chris was like, you guys got to come to the show, and he's very connected in town. He knows everyone in town. So. But I did do that thing where I sent a bunch of I boosted, I think 3 reels, one a week for 3 weeks to target Manteca, Stockton, Turlock, and Lodi, and then sent him those reels, and then they used them to say, hey, I'm here, she's here this weekend, and they collabed with me, so. Anyone who maybe saw that reel and then saw the thing, were like, oh, that's that lady I just saw 2 weeks ago. Maybe they came to the show because of that. I don't know. I'm going to try that with future gigs and see how that goes.
Right. That's so interesting because it sounds like where Chris, Andy grew up, but Chris and Fran, Andy's moms, lived in the Central Valley.
It's the same deal. Yeah.
Right, but Manteca is another 2 hours north of them. This state is enormous.
It's massive.
It is so freaking big because it's closer to Sacramento than it is to Bakersfield, right?
Yes.
And because it's they lived in between essentially Visalia and Bakersfield. And I mean, and it's even north of I mean, it's far. But you're in farmland though. Yeah.
Yeah. And I drove through it yesterday, through all that stuff yesterday when I was coming home. And Manteca's also become a commuter town to San Francisco. If you can imagine something that horrifying. We're talking 2 hours.
That's a 2-hour commute.
People, I mean, this started happening maybe 20 years ago, but people could not, they just kept moving more and more east. And so Manteca has its own suburbs. It's not all farm town. It's got a lot of little suburbs and little, HOA houses that are all the same color and that kind of stuff,
And but it's smaller than Modesto.
Yes.
Because I did that weird nightclub in Modesto where the good gig was to feature, the
Okay.
bad gig was to headline, because it turned into a nightclub the last
Right.
10 minutes of your set. And I like that there's a comedy club there. That's cool. And it sounds pretty successful. Do you know what they were charging for entry? Was it a normal 20-25 bucks, or
Might have been
not
15.
offhand? Okay, a little low, because remember, Albuquerque charged $7, and that was, granted, the only time I ever did that Albuquerque with that dirtbag who ran it. It's literally the worst club I've ever done in my life, and it had nothing to do with the audiences. But
Right.
it was $7 to get into that, and I was like, this is
Yeah,
less
but
than
that
a
was a while
movie.
ago. That was a while ago, right?
And it was 20 odd years ago. So
Well, I don't know. I may be wrong on the price, and maybe I don't think it was more than 20. But also that's probably high for Manteca. I mean, that's like not high, but like fair.
right,
You know,
right.
if you if you
I
were
would
to
think it
try
would
to
be about
do
20. Yeah.
if you were to try to do 30, that would be tough. The person has to be hella famous, and I'm not. I will tell you that both drives to and from was so hot in my car, my phone turned off. Thankfully, I knew where I was going, but I was like, I actually should have a Thomas Brothers guide in the car, because who knows when we are going to lose the internet at some point? The satellites go down. We need to know how to get places, you know. And this is another
Right.
example of all those years of watching The Walking Dead with my son had made me realize we can lose everything at any time, and so we need other skills to get us
Right.
places.
Right. What I am doing, it's $24 plus whatever ticket fee. So
Okay.
it might cost $30 to get in,
Okay.
because it's probably the Mark Grossman's ticket engine, right?
I don't
Because
know.
everyone uses Mark Grossman's ticket engine.
I don't think
All the comedy clubs do.
well, they don't all, but you can click on the link and see. I doubt it because it's so brand new and kind of DIY. But you know,
Well, if they use Eventbrite, the prices are less. Like the ticket cost to run it,
yeah,
run the ticket engine is less. But it can be as much as $6 a ticket to buy tickets to things. So,
yeah,
which I've always found kind of rude.
totally shitty. You think you're paying one thing, and all of a sudden at the very end, you're like, wait, what? Yeah,
Yeah, why is there
yeah,
another $6 on this
right,
damn thing?
right.
That's yeah. This tells you how often I see live music, you guys. Absolutely never. Absolutely never. So sad. Well, that's cool. Who featured? Was it fun? Was it our comic of the week?
Yes, sir. So comic of the week. Are we there yet?
Yeah, what the heck? Let's do it.
Okay.
We're pretty
Comic of the
close.
week, Emma Haney. She's from Sacramento. Hilarious. She killed every set. Very funny. Really good joke writer. Really likable. And has been doing comedy, I think, like 14 years.
Okay. What's
Very funny.
her name?
Emma Haney. Wait, what's her Instagram?
Haney. Emma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Cool. It is Haney. Yeah, go.
Haney Comedy. Haney. Ehaney Comedy.
Nice.
That's her Instagram. Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. And you had 4 shows, right?
5.
Oh, 5.
We had a Thursday, and it was
cool.
Their Thursday night is turning into this thing where the local retirement community takes buses to the show.
Oh,
It's really fun. It's fun. It's fun.
that's
energy.
awesome. I don't mind that.
They're down to be dirty and to be made fun of, and it was really really fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I guess they started out with 1 bus, and now they're at least they may be up to 2.
What does it seat? Does it seat like 140 or 200?
I'm so bad at that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
It's
really
hard to
sure.
eyeball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's hopefully in the middle of that he would have done the break that needed to be done. He could figure it out. Kyle's not here. He's at work, you guys. So we're doing this ourselves.
Yeah.
So knowing your heart. I did the Bugle last week,
Yeah.
which is a podcast that John Oliver started. And it was super fun.
Who hosts it now?
Andy Schwartzman, is that right? I'm so sorry that I know his name's Andy, and he was super nice. And it turns out he's probably famous because um, it is an
It's
incredibly
it's
popular British podcast.
it's Andrew Garfield, and you're like, I don't know.
Is it Garfield and he hates lasagna? What is it? Is
No,
a
that's Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield. How come
uh,
you don't know that? What are you
I
doing
don't-
right now? Every time I
Andy
look at you, you're
Zoltzman?
writing.
Andy
Okay.
Zoltzman, and I'm writing down things for the tags.
Okay.
Andy
No
Zoltzman.
one gives a shit about the tags. You don't have to write shit down. We'll remember stuff. No one cares about our tags.
Can
Please.
that be the name of the
Fine.
episode? No one cares about the
You're
tags.
paying more attention to tags than the conversation. Who cares?
I'm in. Anyway, but so Hari Kondabolu and Nato Green have been doing it a fair amount,
Oh, okay.
co-hosting, and it's you come in and you talk about politics, and I did it with my friend Tiff Stevenson. You know Tiff,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and so I was the American correspondent, and my the problem with my and we talked a lot about the Olympics actually, and
Yeah.
because I had some Olympics jokes, and I did what I could to write about, and it had just come like Biden had just dropped out
Right.
and Harris had just accepted.
Hard
And
to write
so
at that point. It's such
it
wild
was
information.
it was
Yeah.
so new and so interesting that though Tiff had a very funny riff about stepmoms should be president, and because they're so powerful and so have their acts together because they have to juggle so many things and are used to not being liked.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, I love it.
so
That's
yeah,
great.
it's a nice angle. And yeah, and I did a thing that I've seen everybody do. I mean, that's the real reason I don't write political material is because everybody writes the same fucking joke.
Yeah, it is
And
a race to get. I see so many people recording at God knows what coffee shop they were at that night. It's like the worst lighting, but they're like, I got a camel truck, let me get it out. Oh my god, it's so funny.
it's yeah, and yeah, so I just it was the whole thing about how she's a prosecutor and he's a felon, and I just
Yeah.
riffed on that. And but that has been it's been covered. But it is, I mean, it remains true. And then I'm also, when it comes to politics, yeah, I become slightly too sincere, and that nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So they're they're looking for jokes, and but it was
I
really fun, and I guess it pays a little bit, so that'll be
okay.
nice.
That's good news. Yeah, I don't want any Kamala jokes until she's elected,
Right,
and
right.
then we're gonna
Then
put her
she's
through
fair
a
game.
strainer.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and a very basic. I guess he called her something. Knob job. Donald Trump has been called a loser and a bum his entire life by his family, and so it's literally his go-to when it comes to insult people. And I feel there's part of me that actually feels bad how he was raised because he was so clearly called a loser and a bum his entire life, and he is now a bum and a loser, and it's just sad. The problem is that there's just this power, that there's just this unfortunate group of people who want him to be president. So
I don't know that I would call him a bum or I think he's an asshole. I don't think he's a loser. I don't know, but whatever. I know
no,
what you're saying.
but the thing is he says those words so often
Yeah.
that he clearly, like his dad and his mom were constantly calling him a loser and a bum, and you're like, dude, you have got to reparent yourself, brother.
Well, he might be like those other comics where he's like older comics where he's just kept some stuff from early.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, where did I get empathy for them? But Alan Havey, nothing. You're right.
Exactly.
You're correct. Why? Come on.
You're like poor
Be
little
nicer
Donald
to
Trump.
Nick DiPaolo. Come on, Jackie. What? Let Tim Slagle alone. Okay, so
He's naming names. Okay.
I'm naming names, you guys. We got several in the chat though. Yeah, I don't have any sets until Saturday, which is too bad. But Andy's going on the road, so I'm on mama duty all week. So I have a set, I think, on Saturday. Oh, the nightcap in Burbank.
This is very important for our local listeners. I'm doing Laurie Kilmartin and Friends at the Dynasty on Saturday, August 3rd.
Oh,
It's a 7:30 show.
right.
Blair Erskine and Skylar Higley are confirmed.
Okay.
Went a little wild, and then I was putting names out there that hadn't confirmed. So Blair and Skylar are confirmed. I'm going to do about an hour. I've decided I don't like booking these things. I don't know who to pick. It's very stressful. I don't even like
Do the hour.
booking.
I want to do the hour, but I overbooked mine. But so you're going to do an hour.
Yes, I'm going to do like a regular road hour. If you have seen me in the city in LA, you've seen me do short sets, you've seen me do 7s, 10s, 15s, working on stuff, trying to make sure I use my time efficiently. And when I'm on the road, I don't use my time efficiently. I am I'm like I want to kill for this entire time, and that's what I'll do. I'm just going to do like a regular road hour at the Dynasty this Saturday, August 3rd. And come out for it. Tickets are $20. That's not too much. They're 25 at the door. 20, now. You can go to my website, lauriekilmartin.com, and get them. And there's a massive parking garage behind the theater that is pretty cheap. And there's tons of parking. Like, you will not have a problem parking, which is usually an obstacle in Los Angeles.
Yes, because it's far enough east. It's the old Hayward, and it's called a Dynasty Typewriter.
Yeah.
And a 7:30 show. That's awesome. I think mine's the following weekend, but we could talk about it next week when everybody can buy tickets to that next week.
I've been doing so much promoting of road shows that I kind of lost the ability to promote this one. I'm like, I can't promote it until I finish this Manteca. Like, it's hard for me to promote like 7 different shows at once. It's a lot separately.
Right.
They're not part of like a tour I can put out. I guess they are, but I mean, it's I need to be able to learn how to do that better because right now
I've been
I
asked
get very overwhelmed.
One at a time. I don't think we're wrong though. I think because granted, you see people have those the sort of the tour posters with a list of all the things that they're doing. But somebody asked me to somebody tried to want to collab on my November gigs in Pittsburgh, and also I think Toronto's in November as well. And I was like, okay, I just have to get back from Eugene and I have to do my laundry. So once I do my laundry and I sort of get used to living at home again, because I'm home.
Yes.
I'm home for like 2 weeks, and then I have a corporate in Pittsburgh, and then I'm home again, and then I'm doing all kinds of my father. Oh, Matt Kashian came with an awesome angle. You remember last week or the week before you said, because I was talking about how I had posted a joke that I thought was done, and you're like, well, maybe you'll write a new angle and then it'll have a new ending.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yay.
Yes. So happy. Matt Kashian gave me such a, the suicide chunk. The suicide chunk. That's what I'm calling it. That's not what it'll be on the new album. But because then it will never get played. But he came up with a new album, a new angle about an ending, another sort of a good 35, 40 seconds to make it more personal again, and more sort of family oriented, and make it about my dad more. And I was like, oh, this saves this bit, because I hate when a bit is done and I've posted it and it's not on an album. I said this last week. I'm saying it again. But I need to put it on an album if I'm ever going to get it to be played on the radio and make the cash.
Right.
Yeah.
The choices we have to make with our material. Again, this is all within the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, don't come to a show and tell me you heard a joke that you already saw it online. The reason I have to post it online is to get your fucking ass to a show. Maybe if you were a better comedy fan, you just show up without watching 50 reels in advance. You can watch one, see if I'm up your alley, and then come to the show.
Watch the old specials, because I'm not doing any of those. Any of that material.
It's old and new, right? Stuff just pops up, and
Right, the reels are mostly chopped up for specials, but some of the that's why I had a couple, a sort of like a local thing in Eugene
Yeah.
about the going to the grocery store. That did pretty good. I reposted the rapture joke from Staycation, which everyone's like, this is a great classic bit. And I was like, that's from my last album. It's only, I mean, granted, it is 3 years old, but my last album is 3 years ago. So I
Yeah.
think
I
it's
mean,
three. It's at least,
we,
yeah.
I just feel like, as you know, am I supposed to save stuff for an album? I'm not going to have a career if I don't get people to come to shows. So I'm
Right.
putting current jokes out there that are going to be on an album in a year, and then probably critics will be like, well, some of the stuff I hadn't heard. Well, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? How am I
Right.
supposed to get people to come to shows?
Yeah.
I have old
It's,
material too, and
and you
I'm
do
putting out
crowd work. You do a fair amount of
crowd
crowd
work.
work, and you clip it up, but
Yeah, but it
they don't
doesn't.
go viral. They don't.
Yeah, crowd work videos don't do as well. They
Yeah.
do for me. They do okay, but with the stuff that gets like a ton of traction, millions of views, are structured, written bits. Especially some stuff that's been on TV, so it looks really good. Like it's like, oh, part of me is like, maybe I don't have to worry about cutting out crowd work because they don't. It doesn't work as well anyway. If you just get like 10 really good TV
And I
set.
I reposted that rapture bit.
Yeah, if you get those clips going, and maybe you don't have to repost Jackie. Maybe you take the rapture, whatever you posted it, and boost it to the new places you're going. Now that's costing money. You know, you can pay the minimum to see, whatever. But I don't know. It's just I whatever. If you're super famous, you have the privilege of holding on to an hour's worth of material. That's
Right.
nice for you. I'm not there. A lot of
Right.
people aren't, and we have to churn out new shit and constantly post it to get people to come to our shows. And it's turning into like two tiers of comics: people that can hide their hour and people that can't.
Right. Well, I will say that Laura Vogel, social media person, told me that I should use newer clips instead of older clips. So reposting stuff, I can, if I wanted to, I could go through. I wouldn't mind. I don't have time for this. I wouldn't. I did it with Twitter where I just deleted all. I have it on auto delete, so my tweets delete every 3 months. And with Instagram, she doesn't recommend deleting because it affects the algorithm and it affects the stats. But she said you can archive. So to go back, I would like to go back but I've been on Instagram for what, a dozen years? And I just don't have it in me to go through a dozen years of Instagram and
Right.
archive stuff. So, but there is part of me that thinks that might actually be of value. I don't know. And I can't call it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep going, Laurie. I'm gonna keep waking up and keep yeah. It was fun to do a bunch of LA sets though. I'm psyched you were in the Bay Area. That sounds like it was really fun.
It was fun. And then I did I was on the White Woman Zoom for Kamala.
Oh, right.
I mean, for Shannon Watts, who put it together, she has a Mom's Demand, which is her anti-gun group. She's an amazing
Yeah.
organizer, right?
Right.
So she cooked this thing together really, really quickly. So kudos to her. She's incredible, and all the people that helped her and stuff. And they had like to me, it was very white woman. Like I was like, yeah, this is there was like that kind of cringy, earnest energy that like
Yeah.
it was very much like how someone goes up before a comedy show in Canada and acknowledges the tribal lands that the shows are on. Well, I've only seen it in
Does
Canada.
it? Okay.
They acknowledge the tribal lands, and it's like not funny, and it's very like, yeah, okay. And then the show it kind of had that sort of wanting to be better desperately, right?
Right.
And that's great. That's really cool. And I was like, I wish there was just someone coming up here going, fuck this fucking piece of shit Trump. We gotta fucking bury this guy, and just being like, and maybe that happened later because I couldn't stay on the whole time. But
How long was it?
It was at least an hour. It did crash a couple times, and it went out onto YouTube as well. But it was like, a lot of money was raised, and that's
160,000 people and $2 million,
yeah,
right?
more. I
In
think
90 minutes. That's right. It
more
was 90 minutes.
more later as things, because that thing crashed too, so people came in later and donated. But what they said they need the most, someone did go, no one's gonna no one's going to vote in Nevada because they got a postcard from a lady in California. And I'm like, oh, all right. She's like, we need money because they need and their ads are fucking good. The ads I'm seeing from various PACs are really effective. They need the money to put those ads in the right places. They know where they need to go. And it was just it was good, and it was up and down, of who I connected with and who would made me tune out with their
Okay.
earnestness. But
Right. Well, that was what
meant
earnestness
well.
is exactly what you said. This is very, very earnest. And I
Yes.
just wish there was a little more comedy. And just that
Oh,
it
oh,
was
in
in
its
the
yeah, I
thread.
mean,
Yeah.
right, yeah. And I don't want to. The effort to put it together was incredible. So
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
and then
just
there was
as
a black woman one too.
yeah, that was inspired by that one.
Yeah.
That was the first one. The first one, and the white women one was sort of like Shannon Watts going, "Hey, let's see what we can raise." And
now there's
again,
going to be a white man one.
I know, I love it.
Proof saw that. Yeah. It was like,
I
all
love
right,
it.
make them niche. Do whatever. If you raise $2 million every time somebody stands around for 90 minutes, let's do this. Because the black woman one raised that amount of money as well. So
Yeah.
the white man one should raise what, 30% more? It's
That's funny. You should tweet that, Jackie.
it's oh, hey, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We're back.
We are back, and it's 12:52 for that break. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I made a little abortion video. I want to try to do more of them. Just
About just talking about
imagining the worst case scenario, because I think we need to start imagining the worst case scenario. And then some guys got in there. Of course, I said this video is for Republican white women, right? Forward it to your Republican white. And of course, the men are like, why isn't it for me? And just like literally, people are like, Donald Trump has disavowed Project 25. Oh my God, what, are you insane? So there is work to be done. But if you can, convince, that there's a demographic that doesn't want their daughters arrested for murder because they had an abortion. And
right.
They also like to pay no taxes. Well, if we can convince them this one time to let their Republican Party know you went too far, you should never come for this shit again. And that was my message. You got to vote Democrat on down the line. You got to make it a landslide. You got to make these men realize they cannot come for this issue ever fucking again.
Right. And because the other thing is J.D. Vance's lawyer wife quit her job because women shouldn't have jobs. Because women are taking away jobs from men who have to provide for their families, which is has never occurred in the history of humanity. Women have always worked, and especially the poorer the women.
Yeah.
There's always been laundry. There's always been house cleaning. There's always been food prep. There's always been selling apples. Whatever the fuck it is, women have always worked, and men.
It's that she's a piece of work. She's part of that. Amy Chua, do you know her? She wrote Tiger Mom.
Oh,
so
God.
I think she cooked for Kavanaugh. I discovered this ring later, this Yale ring. And her husband was like, something happened with him with sexual harassment with him and students and stuff. So she's a real creep. And Usha was part of that little scene. And they're all tied to Kavanaugh, Yale, that whole, and Gorsuch, all that that little group has an incredibly outsized influence on our current politics and our Supreme Court, and it's really disturbing.
It's truly disturbing.
Yeah.
Well, I got two other topics.
Okay.
Bamford did After Midnight, the season finale.
Oh, nice.
Again, and had a really good time with Pete Holmes and a very funny guy, an actor named Vinny.
Vinny Thomas.
I don't know his work, but he was hilarious. I
He's
saw the clip with
hilarious.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does stand up too.
Oh, does he?
I did a show at the Dynasty with him, but he does really funny reels and he posts them on Twitter too, but they're on TikTok and
Maria said that
Instagram.
he was very conscious that he was the only person of color anywhere near that stage.
Right, right, right,
And
right.
and then and
Well,
so that seemed really fun.
the crew is pretty diverse, and the writers are pretty diverse too. But yeah. At that time, yeah.
Right. And then I went and saw Deadpool. Have you guys seen Deadpool yet?
No, but I did see Emma and I went and saw Twisters, and then on Saturday, and then Saturday night it was wind at the farmhouse, and
Emma
the
Haney, the comic of the
yeah
week in your
yeah
feature, went and saw Twisters.
yeah, and then
Oh, that was
it
nice.
was windy that night, and there were just like things slapping, and I'm like, what the fuck? Get me out of here! Oh, it was so scary.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna. That sounds fast. Deadpool was filthy and hilarious,
Okay,
and just chock full of fan serve. I had one small problem with it. I will not say anything, except for that I
okay,
thoroughly enjoyed it. And he had
okay.
one small problem with it. He will not say anything, because it's only been around for less than a week, so
Right,
there's
right,
no
right.
need to comment on it. The Olympics, on the other hand, I watched the two documentaries of the making and the opening ceremony, and
Oh,
I guess there was some people had trouble with the opening ceremonies, but it was extraordinary. They did so it was extraordinary. Just between all the different as you went up the river, just one show after another, and you're just like, I bought the album of the French pop star Anya Nakamura, I think her name is Aya
uh-huh.
Nakamura. I'm getting it wrong. Classic. But I buy one album a year, you guys. I'm buying hers. And I didn't even get to see the end of it because I had to go and leave. So I didn't see Celine Dion sing. Did you get to see it?
I did see it. I mean,
Was it
did
neat?
you? It was, and watching the documentary. If you haven't seen that on Amazon Prime, I think it's Amazon
About
Prime.
her?
All about what she struggles with
Oh, right.
her disease. It's called stiff
Yeah.
person's disease, and her muscles paralyzed, and she has such a hard time singing and reaching notes, and it's very unpredictable.
Oh,
It could have struck right before she sang. You know what I mean? Like, so she has to like really moderate her emotions and not get stressed out, which is hard to do if you're hoping you can still sing at the Olympics as it's starting. You know what I mean?
right. For 2
So
billion people. Yeah.
that was really cool. Watching her deal with all that is really devastating.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she will be incapacitated at times. You know.
Right. Right. It's been 4 years, I think, since she sang. Is that right?
I don't know.
Publicly.
I don't know.
Yeah. A
I
long
don't know.
time.
And this doesn't
And
mean she can go on tour for 2 hours a night now. You know what I mean?
right.
Like
Right. She sang
that
one
might have
song.
she might need to rest for months after that.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what? Did you see Taylor Tomlinson is going on tour, right? And
Right.
she has made some promos that are like really cool and fun and very like to me. I was like, this is like a Virgin tour. This is Material Girl tour, like early Madonna. And you were around. I don't think you were into Madonna though, right?
Not enough to know what you're talking about, but I
Okay,
know all the
so
songs. Yeah.
right, but I mean, like her when she I've always been wondering if comedy can have the same impact as music. I mean, obviously they affect people differently, right?
Right.
But Madonna had a massive impact on me. Being an Irish Catholic, raised Irish Catholic, seeing this Italian Catholic slinging a crucifix around like it's a piece of meat. I'm like, what the fuck? But I was like, this is legal. Like, I thought she would be arrested for half of her videos. I couldn't,
Right.
but she blew my mind open. And Taylor is raised religious, and she's breaking out of it in whatever way she's going to, and but with comedy, not music. And I'm
Right.
just kind of curious because obviously there's a huge religious class in this country, and there are probably a lot of young people that they don't have anyone talking about it really, except maybe Taylor Tomlinson, and she's going to be doing it via jokes instead of
Yep.
music. And I'm just sort of, I don't know, I'm just sort of excited to see if this
Yeah.
sort of there's
I
a
have to go
little
to her Instagram and
explosion.
see these
Yeah,
promo videos.
yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah,
Her stand-up has always been very,
yeah.
I've said it a million times. My favorite kind of stand-up is where it's smart and silly,
And
and her and
personal, very
and
personal.
personal, very personal,
Yes.
and yeah. So and I've always enjoyed that, and
Yeah.
so so this is great. I saw that because she was at when I was in Eugene and Portland. She did the Punchline.
Yeah.
And she's also, I think, was she just a comedy on stage? But she was putting it as all a new hour. I'm working on stuff. You're gonna watch me have my notebook. It turns out I have a lot of jobs.
I
So
love that. That's the
yeah.
dream to be able to do that because I think her tour like starts in October or something, where it's like an official tour. So she's whatever she's doing
Okay.
now
The
is
big
working on
theaters.
the stuff for
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's so cool. That's the dream. That's the dream to be able to do that. To be able to like headline a club and go, all right, it's I might be operating on just charm for a while. Okay, this is all new shit. Like Marin does that, and then he'll go and do his a big theater tours. I think that's just so cool. I wish
That's
I don't think I'll have that. I
you
wish
want
I
you wa-
would.
well, I do the
What are
first
the
part. I just
odds?
don't do the theater part.
Not
I do the
me.
part where I'm working on my hour, and I'm working on charm. Some of it's just
Yeah,
charm. Some of it's just personality. And some of it's just timing until I write the punchlines, but then you are right. There is no giant theater tour, but that's fine. The money would be great, but whatever. I'm fine. I live indoors. So, when are you going back out again?
I'm at the Comedy Attic the second to last weekend in August. I think the 23rd and 24th are the dates
Okay.
in Bloomington. And then it turns into like school starts. I want to see my son's last water polo season, so it's like a little bit sporadic. Hopefully, we'll kick more into gear later on, and hopefully, I can start filling these rooms a little bit with my new strategy and see how that works, and then make more demands of
I
clubs
got your son
or
a book in
nice.
Eugene at the bookstore. I think he'll like it. I don't know how much fiction or prose he reads because it's not
Not a lot.
yeah, but he might give it a shot. And then if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. That's fine.
Okay.
And I got a corporate in the middle of next month, but then after that I'm doing Madison. But the 28th of August, if you are in Chicago, around Chicago, near Chicago, far away from Chicago, but have a giant bag of money, Wednesday, the 28th of August, I'm doing the Lincoln Lodge, and tickets are on my website. And I would like to sell that out, please. That would be an ideal, as you can well imagine. I don't think I'm breaking any. And then I'm doing San Antonio with Maria. Maria's doing the rest of that week in Texas. I'm only going to San Antonio with her. And so I just
LOL.
have, I don't think so. I think it's a theater.
Ooh.
She's doing, I think it's, nope, I didn't write it down. There you go. But it's go to mariabamford.com. Though I did update my website as much as I can. And then there is now a widget for this show on Laurie's website where you can watch the videos for the old shows
On my
on
website?
Laurie's
No, it's not.
podcast page, on your podcast page.
I don't have a
LaurieKilmartin.com.
podcast.
You do have a podcast page, but for some reason, remember when you created Weebly? Weebly created the JackieandLaurieShow.com.
Yeah.
So the same things that are on JackieandLaurie's.com, except for the Comic of the Week thing, are also on your website. Melanie
I'll check
VC
it out.
created a podcast page for you, and
Did
she
tell me?
put I don't know, I wasn't there, but on your page
Okay.
there is a widget that shows you the videos of this show. So if you go to LaurieKilmartin.com and go to the podcast page, you might want to stop at the tour page and see where if Laurie's going to be near you.
Well, you know what? If you're in LA, I'm near you this Saturday. Come to the show. It'll be great. Dynasty
Oh,
Typewriter.
there you go. I think we've done enough, don't you?
Yeah. Yes. More.